Yo, what's up, world? I want to give my little 2 cents. Make America great again. I want to give my little 2 cents on the debate coming from a black man from Arkansas, Trump country, as we all know. Let me get my little 2 cents on it about the debate. Let's get it rolling. Let's go. I'm sorry, not debate. The interview. Fox News. Let go.
Madam Vice President, thank you for the time.
Thank you. It's good to be with you, Brett.
You know, voters tell pollsters all over the country and here in Pennsylvania that immigration is one of the key issues that they're looking at this election, and specifically the influx of illegal immigrants from more than 150 countries. How many illegal immigrants would you estimate your administration has released into the country over the last 3.5 years?
Well, I'm glad you raised the issue of immigration because I agree with you. It is a topic of discussion.
Answer the question.
That people want to rightly have. And you know what I'm going to talk about.
Yeah, but
right
do you,
now,
just a number, do you think it's 1 million,
Yeah, we know what you're going to talk about. You know you're going to pin a ramble.
3 million?
Brett, let's just get to the point, okay? The point is that we have a broken immigration system that needs to be repaired.
So your Homeland Security Secretary said that 85% of apprehensions.
I'm not finished. We have
it's a
an
rough
immigration
estimate of 6 million people have been released.
That's the answer. 6 million people. Go ask the question and get the answer. And let's move on. We know she's a Dodger, a LA Dodger. So we know she's not going to answer any questions. Let's continue on. Let's see. Let's go.
Into the country. And let me just finish. I'll get to the question, I promise you.
I was beginning to answer.
And when you came into office, your administration immediately
Don't want to hear that cackling.
reversed a number of Trump border policies. Most significantly, the policy that required illegal immigrants to be detained through deportation, either in the U.S. or in Mexico. And you switched that policy. They were released from custody awaiting trial. So instead, included in those were a large number of single men, adult men, who went on to commit heinous crimes. So, looking back, do you regret the decision to terminate Remain in Mexico at the beginning of your administration?
At the beginning of our administration, within practically hours of taking the oath, the first bill that we offered Congress, before we worked on infrastructure, before the Inflation Reduction Act, before the CHIPS and Science Act, before the bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first bill, practically within hours of taking the oath, was a bill to fix our immigration system.
Yes, ma'am. It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2000.
Exactly.
Once again, answer the question for this is the thing. Like, if you're trying to get someone to vote for you, and we're asking you questions, please just give the answer. Don't be filibustering all around and dipping and dodging. LA Dodger.
21. It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the. Yes, ma'am.
May I finish responding, please? But you have to let me finish.
You
please.
had the what?
May she finish responding. We don't want you to respond. We want you to finish answering the question. We want you to answer the question. We don't want you to respond. Whatever that means. Answer the damn question.
White House and the House and the Senate,
I'm
and they didn't bring up that bill.
I'm in the middle of responding to the point you're raising.
Okay.
And
be in the middle of a damn answer in the question he's asked.
I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
Sales are hard to make, but royalties, on the other hand, are not. Let me explain. My name is Charlotte Mickelson, and we help.
I guess when you're on paper, you gotta get the commercials. So you gotta roll with it, Ain't no edit over here, baby.
We recognized from day one that to the point of this being your first question, It is a priority for us as a nation and for the American people. And our focus has been on fixing a problem. And from day one, then, we have done a number of things, including to address our asylum system and put more resources, getting more judges, what we needed to do to tighten up penalties and increase penalties for illegal crossings, what we needed to do to deal with points of entry between.
Hey, cut it off. She taking another. Hey, shit. See, I noticed that right there. That's a smooth tactic because she got to talking and I was getting sleepy. I got to thinking about everything else. She done made me forget what the question was and everything. Hey, they smart with that right there because that works. Because I was almost out of there and forgot about the question. You almost got me.
Between border
Cut her out.
Entry points. That's the work we did, and we worked on supporting what was a bipartisan effort.
I heard her spit swallow.
Including some of the
swallow her spit.
Most conservative members of the United States Congress to actually strengthen the border. That border bill would have put 1,500 more border agents at the border, which is why I believe the Border Patrol agents supported the bill. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States, which is a scourge affecting people of every background, every geographic location in our country, killing people. It would have allowed us to put more resources into prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, which I have done.
Cut her off. She gonna, the interview ain't nothing but 20 minutes, 25 minutes. You got to cut her off and get to the more questions.
Yes, ma'am.
As the Attorney General, former Attorney General of a border state.
Madam Vice President.
Respectfully, shut your ass up. I'm trying not to curse. Don't be cursing, man.
There's a couple of things.
Prosecuted trafficking of drugs, guns, and human beings. And Donald Trump, but let me just finish.
Six Democrats voted against that bill.
Learned about that bill and told them to.
How long she gonna be finishing?
To kill it, because he preferred to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And in this election, this is rightly a
all answers lead back to Trump.
Discussion that the American people want to have. And what they want are solutions, and they want a president of the United States who's not playing political games with the issue.
I hear you.
But actually is focused.
We want a president that if you ask a question, they can answer it. Not about the other person. What you gonna do? What are you going to do? And it's really not even what are you going to do. It's why haven't you done it? Because you've been in office for 3.5 years. So why haven't you done it? Not whatever the hell I said. I forgot.
Focused on fixing
Six
it.
Democrats voted against that bill. It would have allowed 1.8 million illegal immigrants into the country a year.
Who is that? Oh, Bernie, Booker. I can't even see that. Markey, Butler. Ooh. Padilla. And Sinema. Or whatever that is. Okay.
A lot of
So it wasn't that everybody ain't voted for it. So get up out of here with all that.
conservatives had a problem with it. These are the six Democrats. But more importantly, back to the original premise.
Right.
Jocelyn Nungary, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley, they are young women who were brutally assaulted and killed by some of the men who were released at the beginning of the administration, well before a negotiated bipartisan bill.
Condolences to all of those family members and anyone that is acquainted with knowing them. Condolences to your family.
Former President Clinton actually referred to Laken Riley Sunday campaigning for you in Georgia, saying if those men had been properly vetted, Laken Riley probably would not have been killed. So if it wouldn't have happened, this is well before any negotiation. This is well before Donald Trump got involved in the politics. This is a specific policy decision by your administration to release these men into the country. So what I'm saying to you,
Is she going to answer the question? Someone said they had a drinking game going on. If you answer the question, oh no, you take a drink every time she uh, doesn't answer the question, or blame it on Trump. Boy, you're gonna be drunk in 30 seconds.
You owe
Brett,
those families an apology.
Let me just say, first of all, those are tragic cases.
Correct.
There's no question about that.
Correct.
There is no question about that.
Correct.
And I can't imagine the pain that the families of those victims have experienced for a loss that should not have occurred. So that is true. It is also true that if a border security had actually been passed 9 months ago, it would be 9 months that we would have had more border agents at the border, more support for the folks who are working around the clock trying to hold it all together.
Madam Vice President.
To ensure that no future harm would occur. And this election in 20 days will determine whether we have a president of the United States who actually cares more about fixing a problem, even if it is not to their political advantage in an election.
That's why y'all shouldn't have undone that border, trying to undo what Trump did, and got those little babies killed. That exactly what you said. Yeah.
Because there was a solution, Brett.
Madam Vice President, it was a policy decision in the early part of your administration. I will let one of the mothers talk about it. Take a listen.
Ouch. This hurts.
Because of the Biden-Harris administration open border policies catch and release.
That's the early days.
Ouch.
So do you owe them an apology is what I'm saying.
I will tell you that I am so sorry for her loss. I'm so sorry.
So, by saying you're sorry, that means you did it. That means you're responsible for those young people's lives. That means you did it. Because if you wouldn't have did it, you shouldn't apologize. You should be like, hey, I didn't do it. And that's not for me to apologize. I apologize on behalf of whoever. Now is the time to be blaming Trump and saying Trump was he the one that did it, and let these people over and let's blame him for shouldn't have you shouldn't have said that.
So sorry for her loss. Sincerely. But let's talk about what is happening right now with.
Whoa. Now that's pretty deep right there too. She say sincerely, and then goes and say but. Yeah, and but. You can't be butting after you can just told these people you're sorry, and then but.
An individual who does not want to participate in solutions. Let's talk about that as well.
But do you want to answer
in
her?
all fairness, I told you I feel awful for what she and her family have experienced.
During that time, you said repeatedly that the border was secure. When in your mind did it start becoming a crisis?
I think we've had a broken immigration system transcending, by the way, Donald Trump's administration, even before. Let's all be honest about that. I have no pride in saying that this is a perfect immigration system. I've been clear, I think we all are.
Yeah, but I've been flying these people in, and taking FEMA money. And then now you have a disaster in the country, and the money is limited or gone, and you can't use it.
That it needs to be fixed. We need more. I was just down at the border talking.
You was just down there. Why the hell you ain't fix it? And why you ain't fixing it in these last 3.5 years? That is the question. What's going on? Why you steady blaming Trump?
Talking with border agents, and they will tell you, and I'm sure you probably, I know you investigate and you are a serious journalist. They will tell you, we need more judges. We need to process those cases faster. We need the support for those cases that should be prosecuted. They need more resources, and Congress ultimately is the only place that's going to get fixed, Brett.
Well,
that's how this system works.
That's the premise of this question. There were 90-plus executive orders that were rescinded in the first days. Many of those were Trump border policies. I'm not going to stay here because there's other things to talk about, but you frequently talk to the Border Patrol Union for support of that bipartisan bill, and they did. They supported it. But they also just endorsed Donald Trump and said, you've been, quote, a failure with border security. Why do you think they said that?
I think they're frustrated, and I get it. They want support. They want support, and that's what that...
Well, why the hell you ain't got no support? What's the problem? Get them support. You been there... Hold on. Should be coming back about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm back. I know I'm gonna have some problems today. I just started back. Hey, get down there and help.
Border security bill would have done. These guys down at the border, these men and women, they're working hard. They're working around the clock. I get it.
There's a lot of people that look back at what you said in 2019 when you first ran for president. And there have been changes, and you've talked about some of them. When it comes to immigration, you supported allowing immigrants in the country illegally to apply for driver's license, to qualify for free tuition at universities, to be enrolled in free health care. Do you still support those things?
Listen, that was 5 years ago, and I'm very clear.
It's changed my mind, huh?
That I will follow the law. I have made that statement over and over again, and as Vice President of the United States, that's exactly what I've done, not to mention before.
If that's the case, you chose a running mate, Tim Walz, governor of Minnesota, who signed those very things into state law. So do you support that?
We are very clear. And
we are very clear. That was, well, I don't know if that was a gotcha question, but he got her.
I am very clear, as is Tim Walz, that we must support and enforce federal law, and that is exactly what we will do.
So decriminalizing border crossings, like you said in 2019.
I do not believe in decriminalizing border crossings, and I've not done that as vice president. I will not do that as president.
So these are evolutions that you've had.
No, but let's be very clear. I'm the only person who's running for president who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations, from the Sinaloa cartel.
Here she go, filibustering. That's a new word I learned. You know, she filibustering. And from what I read, that means about a whole bunch of bullshit. I'm supposed to be cussing.
Cartel, to the Guadalajara cartel, to people who have trafficked in guns, drugs, and human beings. I have spent a significant part of my career going after people who present a threat to the safety of the American people and cross our border with the intent of doing us harm and cross our border illegally. And I will do that work as vice president. I take that work quite seriously.
This is a time when voters, especially here in Pennsylvania, are inundated with commercials and ads. They just want it to stop because it's every commercial. But many of them add noise, but a few of them seem to break through. This particular one from the Trump campaign has gotten a lot of attention.
Kamala supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners.
Surgery.
For prisoners.
For prisoners. Every transgender inmate in the prison system would have access.
Every booty bandit that wanna get rid of everything. The booty bandit, you check it. You might have some of these booty bandits going in just to get the free surgery. Hey, I go in here, let me go commit a crime right quick. They gonna be raising the crime up just to go get the booty bandit surgery. Now that's wild. Hey man, let go over here and rob this store. We ain't gonna get them about 3 months. And in that 3 months, we gonna get a $90,000 surgery.
So,
Booty bandits.
are you still in support of using taxpayer dollars to help prison inmates or detained illegal aliens to
Hey, no, I ain't gay. I ain't bashing nobody. That's just what they call now. That's what I heard. I ain't never been there, and hopefully never go. I ain't trying to go, but you know, hey, I'm black in America.
transition to another gender?
I will follow the law, and it's a law that Donald Trump actually followed. You're probably familiar with, now it's a public report, that under Donald Trump's administration,
All road leads to Donald Trump.
the
Nothing about these last 3.5 years and none of that.
these surgeries
There ain't no 3.5 years. It's 4 years.
were available to, on a medical necessity basis, to people in the federal prison system. And I think, frankly, that ad from the Trump campaign is a little bit of like throwing, stones when you're living in a glass house.
The Trump aides say that he never advocated for that prison policy and no gender transition.
Fact check. By the time somebody fact check though.
Well,
It might not even be a fact check, but by the time somebody just said something, you lying, bitch. Yeah. Oh, I was supposed to be cussing.
you know what? You got to
happened
take
during
responsible for what
his
happened in your
presidency.
administration.
Yeah, no surgeries happened in this presidency.
It's in
So
black and white.
would you still advocate for using taxpayer dollars for gender reassignment
I will
surgeries?
follow the law, just as I
you have a
think
say
Donald
in
Trump would
this.
say he did.
You would have a say as president.
Everything I'm talking about Trump.
I said, I think it's real. He spent $20 million on those ads, trying to create a sense of fear in the voters because he actually has no plan in this election that is about focusing on the needs of the American people. Whereas, at $20 million on that ad, on a
No plan, because he has no plan to change a man.
an issue that, as it relates to the biggest issues that affect the American people, it's really quite remote. And again, his policy was no different. Look at
Cut her. But there she go. She finna start running to the end. Cut her.
where we are, though.
They say
on
it was
plans for
different,
the
but let's-
American
we'll move
people,
on.
I'm offering a plan to deal with affordable housing. I'm offering a plan to deal with
Cut her.
what we need to do to strengthen small businesses, which are the backbone of America's economy.
Cut her.
I am offering a plan that is about taking care of young parents and
Cut
giving
her.
them the support they need. My
Cut her.
plans for the economy will strengthen the economy.
See. Now, I said she wasn't black, but this motherfucker sound like a goddamn Baptist preacher now. Putting the Jesse Jackson.
Economy, as have been reviewed by 16 Nobel laureates, Goldman Sachs, Moody's, and recently the Wall Street Journal, which have all studied our plans and have indicated my plans for our
Cut her.
economy would
Cut it. Cut it.
strengthen our economy. His would make them weaker,
Why do you
would
think more
ignite
people say-
inflation and invite a recession by the middle of next year.
My new word, filibuster.
Those are the facts.
Why do you think more people say they trust him on the economy than they trust you?
I think that when you look at an analysis of our plans for what we would do as President of the United States, it has been clear to those who study and understand how economic policy works that moving forward, because I do believe the American people are ready to turn the page on the divisiveness and the type of rhetoric that has come out of Donald Trump. People are ready to chart a new way forward. And
You're right. We ready to turn the page on your motherfucking ass. I said I wasn't supposed to be cussing, man.
they want a president who has a plan for the future and a plan that is sound and will strengthen our country. My plan for the economy does exactly that. His plan would be, again, to give tax cut to billionaires and the biggest corporations in our country and blow up our deficit.
It's interesting you said turn the page, Madam Vice President. You were asked on 2 different shows last week what, if anything, you would do different.
And, hey, Sonny Hostin, I want to give a special shout out to you because you the bitch. And I'm going to cuss with you. You the bitch that we want to thank because you asked that crazy ass question. And The View is the reason why she started following. After you asked that question, everything went down because she said she don't see nothing different. Now, how smart? Trump was right. You a dumb motherfucker. Now, that's what he said, and that's what I said. Since you want to call us black men, whatever you called us, but then you want to talk about, oh, Trump called me dumb. Well, what you call us? Ho?
Differently than President Biden.
I said,
Here's what you said.
Would you have done something differently?
Oh, there you go. But I like your hair. Your hair is pretty. Look at it. Ooh.
Than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes
There's not a thing. And down with Titanic.
to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
Under a Harris administration, what would the major changes be, and what would stay the same?
Sure. Well, I mean, I'm obviously not Joe Biden.
I know.
And so
Okay, that's answer one. I'm not Joe Biden, so we find out what's different. I'm a woman. I'm not Joe Biden.
that would be one change in terms of, but
Wow.
also, I think it's important to say with, 28 days to go, I'm not Donald Trump.
So both answers. I'm not Biden. I'm not Trump. We don't know who you are.
Oh, you're not Joe Biden. You're not Donald Trump. But nothing comes to mind that you would do differently?
Let me be very clear. My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. And like every new president that comes into office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh
All of that been 3.5, 4 years.
and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership.
No, you don't.
I, for example, am
New, you've been there 3 years. That's old.
someone who has not spent the majority of
4 years.
my career in Washington, D.C. I invite ideas, whether it be from the Republicans who are supporting me, who were just on stage with me minutes ago, and the business sector, and others who can contribute to the decisions that I make about, for example, my plan for increasing the supply of housing in America and bringing down the cost of housing, addressing the issue of small businesses, which is about working with.
Hold on. There she go. She took off for the 9 route.
The private sector to bring more capital and access to capital to our small business leaders, including my plan for a $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers and for small businesses, extending the
That Baptist preacher.
tax deduction from $5,000
Cutter, man.
to $50,000.
We've heard a lot about those plans in recent days. Your campaign slogan is a new way forward, and it's time to turn the page. You've been vice president for 3.5 years. So what are you turning the page from?
My new book, Keyboard Rich, How Anyone Can Earn 6 Figures from Home with a Simple Bookkeeping Business, has just hit the Wall Street Journal.
Well, first of all, turning the page from the last decade in which
Trump.
we have been burdened with the kind of rhetoric coming from Donald Trump that has been designed and implemented to divide our country and have Americans literally point fingers at each other. Rhetoric and an approach to leadership that suggests that the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down instead of what we all know. The strength of leadership is based on who you lift up. The strength of an American president, which is one who understands that the vast majority of us have more in common than what separates us.
Madam Vice President, more than 70% of people
That is
tell
about
pollsters,
turning the page on rhetoric that people are frankly exhausted of, Brett.
More than 70% of people
exhausted.
tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
You
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm
Come on, man. Come on.
talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
She got another calculator.
Actually, don't. What are you talking about?
What I'm talking about is that over the last
No, I don't. What are you talking about?
decade,
But you're
people
the
have
lever of
become.
power.
But listen, over the last decade, it is clear to me, and certainly the Republicans who are on stage with me, the former chief of staff to the president, Donald Trump, former defense secretaries, national security advisor, and his vice president. One, that he is unfit to serve, that he is unstable, that he is dangerous, and that people are
And that's what it all.
exhausted with someone who professes to be a leader who spends full time demeaning
Cut her. And she done took off.
and engaging in personal grievances and it being about him instead of the American people. People are tired of that.
If that's the case, why is half the country supporting him? Why is he beating you in a lot of swing states? Why, if he's as bad as you say, that half of this country is now supporting this person who could be the 47th president of the United States? Why is that happening?
This is an election for president of the United States. It's not supposed to be easy.
Nah, he all this and all that. That what they say about you.
I know, but
It's not supposed to be. It is not supposed to be a
so
cakewalk for anyone.
are they misguided, the 50%?
Listen,
are they stupid? What is
God,
it?
I would never say
Oh, God.
that about the American people. And in fact, if you listen to Donald Trump, if you watch any of his rallies.
Oh, and I don't know if y'all watching. Just so y'all know, I'm black. Y'all can y'all see? I'm black. I like Trump. And I'm an atheist. I'm all fucked up. Let y'all tell it.
Rallies, he's the one who tends to demean and belittle and diminish the American people. He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within, talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
We asked.
What is she doing? Pointing fingers and having rage.
That question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. But think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
If they some enemies, if we've got some enemies within, and they enemies, they might need the National Guard, them folks on their ass.
Well, he was asked about that specifically.
No, that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and respect to you,
that was the question that we asked him.
You didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that. And you and I both.
Now, I don't know. I don't know what the question was, but that was that a slick ball? Hey, but hey, you on the opponent's. You're on the other side, so they might throw a landmine or two in there for you, you know what I'm saying? Step on. That's what they're supposed to do.
Both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people. He has talked about going after people who are engaged in peaceful protest. He has talked about locking people up because they disagree with him. This is a democracy. And in a democracy, the president of the United States, in the United States of America.
Really in? Or no, might want to let her go now. This is self-destruction.
America should be willing to be able to handle.
It's an angry Indian woman. It's not an angry black woman. This is an angry Indian woman. I don't know what that is. So that might be the Tasmanian devil times 2. I ain't never seen an angry Indian woman. So, but look at the face. Ooh, look at the face. Ooh. Yeah, no. No. Angry Indian woman? I don't know about that.
Criticism without saying he'd lock people up for doing it. And this is what is at stake, which is why you have someone like the former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff saying what Mark Milley has said about Donald Trump being a threat to the United States of America.
He's quoted in the Bob Woodward book that way, yes. Let me ask you this, Madam Vice President. You call Donald Trump. You call Donald Trump. He's misguided. You say now.
Shut up when he said what you said about Donald Trump.
Now
he's unstable. He is unstable, Brett.
He's not well. You say he's mentally not stable.
He's not.
Ooh, come on down. Like, come on down here. Come on down this alleyway. Come on down here this alleyway where I'm leading you to. Cause yeah, you falling right into this a trap.
Let me ask you this. You told many interviewers that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around.
That's a trap. And she fell right into it. You could have said, oh yeah, fell into the trap.
Around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Joe Biden.
Hold up. Nah, man.
I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room, and he has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
Brett, Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And Donald Trump
but
is.
You talked about it.
And Donald Trump
After George Clooney said within a few minutes of talking to President Biden at a fundraiser that he thought this was not the same Joe Biden that we saw on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is on the ballot.
I understand. You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years. You didn't have any concerns?
Yeah, you ain't. So now you saying, now they said he not fit, but you saying that you was right there with him and he was making good decisions. But they take him off. And that's why you there, because they take him off and say he wasn't fit. But you been with him every week and you don't know he fit.
I think the American people have a concern about Donald Trump, which is why the people who know him best, including leaders of our national security community, have all spoken out. Even people who worked for him in the Oval Office, worked with him in the Situation Room, and have said he is unfit and dangerous and should never be president of the United States again, including his former vice president, which is why the job was open for him to choose another running mate.
Cut it.
So that is a fact. That is a fact.
Madam Vice President, 2 more things. You were asked on 60 Minutes about the biggest threat that the world faces.
With my hair back and forth.
That the U.S. faces. This is what you said.
Which foreign country do you consider to be our greatest adversary?
I think there's an obvious one in mind, which is Iran. Iran has American blood on their hands, okay? This attack on Israel, 200 ballistic missiles. What we need to do to ensure that Iran never achieves the ability to be a nuclear power, that is one of my highest priorities.
A number of experts thought you would say China. The FBI director had said that. But you said Iran.
The biggest military.
If that's the case, what do you say to critics who look at the actions of your administration and say you're not...
China. China, get rid of China. Well, don't get rid of China. We're gonna put tariffs on China.
Acting like Iran is the #1 threat.
Well, I will tell you most recently, whether it was in April or in October, and then several hours.
And I don't know what a tariff is. I just heard Trump say it.
On each occasion that Iran posed a threat.
Y'all hear me out in the comments. Y'all hear me along this journey. I'm finna ride this Trump thing out, baby. Yeah, it's the new channel. I don't even know my name, but yeah, I'm gonna change the name.
To Israel. I was there, most recently in the Situation Room, in the most recent attack, working with the heads of our military and doing what America must always do to defend and to support Israel in its requirement to defend itself, and to give American support to be able to allow Israel to have the resources to defend
there she go.
Itself against attack, including from Iran and Iran's terrorist proxies in the region.
Right.
And that
but those
is,
proxies were getting funded
my
by
commitment
Iran.
to that is unyielding and unwavering.
Critics just say that you either relaxed or failed to enforce sanctions on Iran, allowing all of this money to flow into Iran, like billions.
Let's go back to Donald Trump, who pulled out of a deal.
Back to Trump.
That would have actually put Iran in check.
The estimates
and then
in billions.
It was during Donald Trump's
that
administration that Iran.
Your child needs these 3 key factors to get into an Ivy League or top 25
regime.
That we had an American military base that was attacked, where American soldiers suffered traumatic brain injuries, and Donald Trump dismissed them as headaches, not to mention how Donald Trump has treated and talked about America's military and military service people, calling them suckers and losers,
Hamas,
has diminished the significance.
We're talking over each other. I apologize.
Well, I would like that we would have a conversation that is grounded in full assessment of the facts, which includes, I think this interview is supposed to be about the choices that your viewers should be presented about this election.
And about you answering the question.
And the contrast is important.
Yes, ma'am.
And on the subject of Iran, I am offering.
Now, I know a lot of times it seems like I've been digging at it, but just answer a question.
What should be an important contrast that is presented for folks to make a decision that they feel.
Who look at what the administration did and say and think differently. Madam Vice President, they're wrapping me very hard here. I hope you got to say what you wanted to say about Donald Trump. There are a lot of things.
There's more to say. I have much more to say.
There are a lot of things that people want to learn about you and your policies, and that's why we invited you.
And we didn't get a chance.
Everyone to go to KamalaHarris.com.
And that's.
And you will see that I.
No, that's treating me like I call my company or something, and they tell me, go to the website, and if I don't go to no goddamn website and research this shit, you got you right here on the phone right now. You tell me, got you right here in the interview. You tell me, we send me to some motherfucking website, bitch.
I have 80 pages of policies that are.
I read no motherfucking 80 pages.
Are quite comprehensive and should be.
Nah, I comprehend you talking. Ain't no comprehensive.
Accessible to anyone who would like to read them, and
they're not accessible to me.
It includes what I intend to do about affordable housing, what I intend to do about small businesses, what I do.
And that's why we invited you here to see where you were in 2019 and where you are now.
America's military.
The same damn place.
And ensure we have the most lethal and best fighting force in the world.
Madam Vice President,
and
they're giving me a hard rap
Well,
here.
I thank you for the time.
I thank you for the time.
It's good to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, they ain't shake hands or nothing. Kamala Harris and Brett, I think that's his name. Nice interview. First time she got in That was her first time on Fox, I think they said. Kamala Harris, first time on Fox News. She's been the vice president 4 years. MAGA baby, make America great again.